Well-connected financier Jeffrey Epstein is facing new sexual abuse charges almost a decade after cutting a plea deal for nearly identical accusations. Prosecutors accused the billionaire of recruiting dozens of girls to engage in sex acts between 2002 and 2005. Epstein is now being charged with sex trafficking of minors and sex trafficking conspiracy. Our next guest is best-selling author and novelist James Patterson. In 2016, he wrote about Jeffrey Epstein in his book Filthy Rich, a powerful billionaire, the sex scandal that undid him, and all the money that justice can buy. James, thank you so much for being with us.
It's great to be here.
Real pleasure to have you with us. So tell us about your reaction when you first heard that New York prosecutors had arrested and charged Jeffrey Epstein.
No, this was it was victory. It was because what got me into this were a lot of people who had been so hurt by the original situation in 2006 when he kind of got off for 13 months. A friend of mine, Tim Malloy, who had covered the case down there. And that's a long time to be waiting. And then John Connolly, who was an investigative reporter who was involved with the Vanity Fair situation.
Right. Well, let's go back to the beginning, or at least when you started writing your book. You lived not far from Jeffrey Epstein in Palm Beach. Is that correct?
Yes.
When did you start hearing rumors?
Oh, no. I wrote the book. Look, this book was written in 2016. All this happened in 2006. I mean, the interesting thing, and God bless the Miami Herald, and God bless, a senator from Nebraska, but pretty much everything, almost everything in the Miami Herald is in this book, which was done 2 years earlier. And unfortunately, we just didn't get the traction that they've gotten right now.
Now, we did hear.
But it wasn't way back in 2006.
Right. Now, we did hear that today, apparently, President Trump had some sort of falling out with Epstein, but he didn't elaborate. We do know that he did kick him out of Mar-a-Lago at one point. What can you tell us about that?
Well, there are two incidents there. One was apparently there was a member, and Epstein was inappropriate with the member's daughter. The other piece, and I interviewed a woman who would run the spa there, and I said, did you know Jeffrey Epstein? She said, oh, yes. She said, he used to come over to the spa, and I found him to be inappropriate with the young girls there. And she said, I went to Mr. Trump, and he threw him right out.
All right,
I mean, such as it is, and I'm not, we get the red and the blue here, and we'll go both ways.
So it's your understanding then that President Trump, or at that time Mr. Trump, didn't know what Jeffrey Epstein was up to?
That is correct. I don't think anybody did.
Right.
I mean, it's so bizarre and insane that somebody would be bringing these young girls to the house, sometimes a couple a day.
Right.
Nobody could imagine that. I don't believe.
There are some bold-faced names, though, that come up in your book. Alan Dershowitz, your former writing partner.
Alan Dershowitz was involved. He was part of the defense team.
Right.
So that's a huge.
But he also comes up in some of the victim statements.
Well, really just one. There was one a woman who claimed that, I guess during the defense, that he came on to her. I don't know exactly what happened. That seems possible, but odd to me. While the guy was defending, that he would. I don't think he's that stupid. I don't think he's stupid at all. That's an odd one.
Prince Andrew is mentioned. Prince Andrew is mentioned.
Well, yeah, that's questionable. Certainly, Prince Andrew went to a lot of the parties.
Your former writing.
A lot of parties.
Your former writing partner, Bill Clinton, also comes up.
This is another one. I don't think Trump is involved, and I don't think Bill Clinton is involved in any way. Epstein liked stars. I mean, one of the weird ones is Stephen Hawking. He did take Stephen Hawking to his Lolita's Island, which is really odd. But he loaned Clinton his plane at least on 4 occasions, and it was and I'm not just saying this because I know the president, but it had to do with the foundation. Twice was in Africa where Clinton had teamed up with President Bush, and they did a lot of good down there for aid. So I think, I think if people get into that, they're kind of going the wrong way with this story. This story is about justice breaking down, the justice system breaking down, and about how could we, since 2006, not paying attention to the story?
Well, of course, the Me Too movement has happened since then, right?
Yeah.
And that is shedding a lot more light on young women being abused.
Good, and I want women to stand up right now. I don't find a lot of women standing up the way they did.
Well, let's talk about women for a second.
I hope they do.
Let's talk about women for a second, because interestingly, he had a woman help him recruit young girls, allegedly.
More than one.
More than one.
Yeah, mostly younger women, yeah.
Mostly younger women, but not in every case. He did have an adult woman.
Allegedly. Ghislaine Max, yeah, right.
And what would be someone's motivation to do that for him?
Well, apparently he's a charismatic person. Some of the girls, have stayed loyal to him,
right.
Which is, I don't know how that works.
So what can you tell us about him? He's a shadowy figure.
Yeah.
How did he make his money?
Gatsby. It's like he loved to be around famous people. He loved to throw parties. He's very bright. Apparently
I like to be around famous people, and I like to throw parties, but I'm not a billionaire.
Nobody knew that. Nobody knew. Well, and no, where the money comes from, nobody knows. I think the interesting, if you want to get somebody in the show, you'll never get them, but Leslie Wexner, the fellow who owned the Limited and Victoria's Secret, and was very involved with Epstein in terms of business, as much as we know.
Okay, so he would know. He
knows some stuff. I mean, he had something to do with Epstein getting that 28,000 square foot apartment, which I don't know. It seemed like Epstein never paid for it.
What drives him? What drives him? What was his past like? Where did he come from?
Well, I mean, here's one of the weird things about, it's a small thing, but it's just very strange. He never graduated from college, and yet he taught at the Dalton School. How does that happen? I mean, you know the private school system in New York. I mean, it's very, I can't imagine somebody, how did he get in there? But that's sort of been his story, a total mystery person. Where did the money come from? How did it happen?
What's his background? Where did he grow up? Did he grow up
in Brooklyn, Coney Island. I don't know if he's underprivileged. I don't think there was a lot of money, but I don't, but Coney Island.
Did you get the sense that he was in high school one of the kids who didn't fit in, or was he always going places?
Really. No, I think he was. I don't think people paid that much attention to him in high school, but I don't think he had a troubled high school. I mean, who knows?
Right.
Once again, the mystery person. I have no idea. I do think, when you see the pattern, which goes from 2003 or so, maybe earlier, and it's still going on apparently, given the fact that all these pictures were found, and at least allegedly, that's a long time to be obsessed with young girls. So it is an obsession. It is a sickness.
So when do you think, though, this pattern of behavior began in his life?
I don't know. I mean, it could. I suspect that it goes all the way back to him being a young kid, but who knows? I don't know.
But who knows?
Yeah.
So, researching your book, what was the most surprising thing you uncovered?
Oh, the whole thing. I mean, I didn't know the story that well. I knew a little bit, like a lot of people. Vaguely aware of it, because I wasn't. After the incident, we moved down to Palm Beach. And I think in general, one of the interesting things is, you do the book, and something bad happened in Palm Beach, and sometimes people don't like that kind of thing about their town. I had hundreds of people come up to me in that town and said, "Thank you for writing this book," and exposing this guy for what he is, and moving things closer, hopefully, to judgment.
Well, what are your thoughts